Ready to go off the beaten path a little.
Sounds fun.
Today we're diving into the story of a place you might not know,
Okay.
but one with a really fascinating history.
I'm intrigued.
We're talking about Gilman Hot Springs in Southern California.
Oh, wow. Gilman Hot Springs.
Yeah. It's gone through some pretty wild transformations over the years.
Really? I'm not familiar with it at all.
Well, get ready, because this is a story that goes from
Okay.
natural wonders and indigenous traditions to, like,
Uh-huh.
glamorous getaways.
Wow.
And then ultimately lands in quite a bit of controversy.
Controversy. Okay, now you've got my attention.
So to really understand Gilman Hot Springs, we need to start with the lay of the land.
Okay.
Picture this. A serene landscape nestled near Potrero Creek,
Okay.
fed by the San Jacinto River. Pretty idyllic, right?
Sounds peaceful.
But here's where it gets really interesting. These grounds actually sit atop a geothermal hotbed.
Oh, wow.
And this gives rise to naturally occurring hot springs.
So the whole area is like naturally heated.
Exactly. And these springs weren't just a spectacle.
Right.
They were a way of life for the Coahuila people who lived in the area long before any resorts were dreamed of.
Makes sense, those natural resources.
And get this, they used the springs for sleeping.
Sleeping in hot springs.
Yeah. During the colder months, they'd submerge themselves in the warm water.
Wow. Talk about a cozy winter.
Right. Imagine that.
I can't say I have.
It's a real testament to their connection with the natural world.
Absolutely. Living in harmony with nature.
So how do we go from this image of the Coahuila to, well, the bustling resort that Gilman Hot Springs became?
That's quite a jump.
Well, like a lot of natural wonders, the springs caught the eye of entrepreneurs.
Of course, makes sense.
In the 1880s, the Branch family shows up,
Okay.
and they see the potential for, like a health retreat.
Uh-huh. The healing power of nature.
Exactly. So they established the Relief Springs Hotel.
Relief Springs Hotel. That's a great name.
And it marks this turning point,
From peaceful natural oasis to like a destination.
Exactly. But it wasn't exactly luxury back then.
No.
I was looking at this old Los Angeles Times article from 1895,
Oh, wow.
and it describes the experience.
What did it say?
Well, they had sulfur springs, mud springs, all different temperatures.
Fancy.
But to get there, you were riding in a stagecoach over dirt roads.
Oof. A long and bumpy ride.
Talk about rustic.
Right.
Yeah.
Dedicated travelers.
But that was the appeal back then, right?
I guess so.
This pure connection with nature.
Yeah, makes sense.
But things are about to get a bit more, well,
More what?
grand.
Grant. Okay, tell me more.
This is where the Gilman brothers come in.
The Gilman brothers.
Yeah, William, Grant, and Forrest.
3 brothers. Okay.
They saw the Relief Springs Hotel in 1913 and thought, we can make this even better.
So they bought it.
They did. And that's when Gilman Hot Springs really took off.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, absolutely. The Gilmans weren't afraid of a little ambition.
No kidding. They were ready to make their mark.
They went big. A brand new bathhouse, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, the whole Rex.
Wow, they went all out.
They turned this quiet spot into a bustling resort village.
I bet the roaring 20s and all that.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing,
Oh, what happened?
There was a fire, a big one.
Oh, no.
Wiped out a lot of what they'd built.
Yes, that's devastating.
But they didn't give up. They rebuilt.
Wow, that's dedication.
Even used salvaged materials from an old school house.
Resourceful.
Really shows their commitment.
They had a vision.
They did. And that vision turned Gilman Hot Springs into, well,
Into what?
the place to be.
The place to be, huh?
Oh, yeah, but that's a story for another time.
I can't wait to hear more.
So we left off with the Gilmans, full of ambition, rebuilding after that fire, and ready to make their mark.
Yeah, talk about a comeback story. What happened next?
This is where things get really interesting, because Gilman Hot Springs becomes the spot.
This spot. Okay, now you have to elaborate.
We're not just talking a relaxing retreat anymore. This is the place to be seen.
Okay, like celebrities and such.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gilman Hot Springs, in its prime, was a playground for Hollywood's elite.
No way. Like, who are we talking here?
I'm talking Joe DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe.
Wow, seriously?
Even Sugar Ray Robinson trained there.
That's incredible.
There's even a story about an unnamed Irish president who visited.
Oh, man. The stories those walls could tell.
Right, and it wasn't just about rubbing elbows with stars.
So what else did they have going on?
They had it all. A 27-hole golf course.
27 holes. That's pretty impressive.
A grand ballroom for dancing, even a boxing training camp.
Wow, something for everyone.
Plus, those incredible natural surroundings.
Right, the hiking, the springs themselves.
It was an escape, a total package.
I bet those old resorts really knew how to do it up.
They did, but speaking of that 27-hole golf course, that's pretty unique.
Yeah, why 27 holes?
I wondered that too, but it makes sense, right?
More options for guests, I suppose.
Exactly, never too crowded.
Smart thinking.
The Gilmans really paid attention to detail.
They were dedicated to making it top-notch.
But even the best things, sometimes they change.
What do you mean? What happened?
Well, by the early 1970s, things were different.
Different how?
Tastes changed, travel was easier, new things popped up.
Oh, I see. The world moved on.
And Gilman Hot Springs, like a lot of these grand old places, it struggled.
Oh, no. It's so sad.
Fewer visitors, costs went up, you know the story.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So the Gilmans, they decided to sell.
Wow, that must have been a tough decision.
And that's where things get really interesting again.
Okay, who bought it?
In 1978, the Church of Scientology.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they paid $2.78 million for it.
That's a lot of money.
It was a big deal, and it changed everything.
How so? What did they do with it?
Well, it wasn't a resort anymore.
No. What happened to it?
They closed it to the public.
Closed it. Like, completely.
Fences went up, it became this private retreat, and, well, it still is today.
Wow. From Hollywood stars to completely closed off? What a change.
Talk about a dramatic transformation, right? And it really impacted the people nearby.
Oh, I bet. All those jobs, the local economy.
It was a big adjustment for everyone, and it kind of raises these questions,
What do you mean?
Like what happens to a place's history? Public access, private property, it all gets tangled up.
That's true. It's not always simple.
And Gilman Hot Springs is a perfect example of that.
Complicated history for sure.
Totally, because you have this place that was all about being open.
Right, welcoming everyone.
And then it becomes, well, kind of mysterious.
There's no way, yeah.
It really makes you think about how places evolve.
How the story keeps getting written, right.
Exactly. And what happens to those stories? Well, that's something to ponder. It's really wild when you think about it.
It really is. Like, how can a place be so open and then suddenly closed off?
Almost like a hidden world.
And it makes you wonder about all those other places out there.
Right, with stories just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. It's not just about Gilman Hot Springs. It's about how we think about history.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Gilman Hot Springs,
Yeah.
what are your big takeaways? What stuck with you?
Well, for me, it's the reminder that places change, What we see today is just one chapter in a much longer story.
Like a snapshot in time.
And those stories, they involve people, nature, all these forces colliding.
And sometimes those collisions create something really special.
And sometimes, well, things become hidden again.
Yeah, but stories are still there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just waiting for someone to come along and ask the questions.
Just dig a little deeper.
Be curious.
Exactly. You might find a faded photo, an old newspaper clipping.
Or even just hear a name whispered.
And suddenly you're transported back in time.
And that's the magic of these deep dives, isn't it?
It really is.
Uncovering the hidden connections, the echoes of the past.
And realizing that those echoes, they still resonate today.
So to everyone listening, the next time you encounter a place with a past,
every place has a past. Take a moment. Think about the stories it holds.
You never know what you might discover.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep asking questions.